Hi everyone, welcome to Momentum Group's first webinar on how custom software can help your business. It will be hosted by Will Ericksson, our Managing Director and Developer. And if you have any questions, there will be some question time at the end. Thanks very much, and over to you, Will.
Thanks, Anna. Well, good morning for those in Australia and good afternoon for those in America or other parts of the world. Good evening, wherever you might be. Thanks for joining us. We're going to spend a amount of time just now talking about custom software and our experience in building this and how that has helped some businesses. So who is this for? It's good to be really specific, and I think what we are going to talk about in this particular webinar is software targeting small to medium enterprise. So in Australia, we refer to that as companies with somewhere between 5 to 200 employees, 500,000 to 20 million turnover. Currently, these kinds of companies are using lots of different off-the-shelf software products. They don't have an extensive in-house IT capability, but they are experiencing growth and they're needing to systemize their businesses and scale. And so these businesses, they might want to improve their process, but they might also want to develop a more productized offering or even a hybrid offering where there's some of their processes are moving online and they're engaging their customers in a new way, or and combining that with some of their traditional service-based offerings. So what are the kind of industries that can benefit from building their own software now? It's really anyone. So we've worked with clients in the manufacturing and trade space, wholesalers, e-commerce, professional services like accounting, legal, engineering, agencies, real estate, recruitment businesses, health, schools, education, anyone who's interested in improving their online presence, and really anyone who's got problems that can be solved through organizing their information more efficiently. So for the webinar today, we're going to talk about a case study, and Mike is a persona that we've created based on a number of different clients that we've come in contact with and people we've helped. So Mike is a married 45-year-old father of 3. He's a managing director of a company called Excellent Building Certifiers. Now, he runs a team of 15 certifiers and 5 administrators. He's got 3 offices in the capital city in Sydney, Australia, and 95% of the work coming through his business is a very repetitive process. So they go out, they get a new job, they send out certifiers, they create documentation, they issue it to local councils, and then it's signed off. And this is a heavy administrational business with lots of repetitive tasks. At the moment, he's got a $3 million turnover each year. So how does Mike currently manage his business? He's got a number of different tools in his current software stack. He's got a particular tool for his industry, package A, which he uses to run some of his workflows. He has another tool, package B, which he uses for others of his workflows. And these together are costing him $1,500 and $2,200 per month. He also runs a popular CRM tool, which costs $2,000 a month. He's got an email marketing suite. He's got Xero for invoicing and accounting, and he's got a Google Business or Microsoft account. So this is Mike's current state workflow. He gets a phone inquiry or a website inquiry, and these things come in. They come in these various forms, and his admin staff will enter them into the CRM. And now this is then manually also updated in the email marketing tool, and it's added to a spreadsheet. Then there's a proposal generated by the admin staff in G Suite and sent to the client by email. If the job's accepted, then they go back to the CRM, they update the status of the job, They then manually update the status of this in the email tool. They then go over to either one of their two industry tools for their main workflows. And so they schedule in their inspections in either of these tools. Then what will happen is one of their field staff, a certifier, will receive the info from their tool. This will trigger SMS or email notification to their client. The certifier will do the work, they'll enter the data, and then that will produce a technical report, which is manually downloaded and saved into Google Drive. They will then receive notifications and issue invoices using an accounting tool like Xero. Admin staff will then manually go back to the CRM, update the status, and then also update the status of this job in a spreadsheet. So that is a typical workflow of a job in this business that Mike runs. Now, in talking to people like Mike, these are the kinds of pain points that keep coming out. Firstly, the software and the whole setup of all these different tools is just not fit for purpose. So it often only does 80% of what's required, and that is after some customization effort on behalf of the vendor in some cases. There are high recurring costs. So each of these SaaS subscriptions has a monthly fee, often per user, and that definitely adds up, and it adds up as the business scales up as well. The systems are not centralized, so the data is not sitting in one place. There's no one source of truth. There's no integration, or there's little use of the integration between these systems. So often tasks are copied across manually, like a client will be recorded in one place, then manually transcribed into another place, and then updated again in the first place. There's no control of the data, so people find it hard to download the data out of these systems should they need to. It's also really easy to make mistakes. So a mistake could be introduced just through these systems being difficult to operate, and then that mistake could be quite costly. And then there's just a hindrance of growth. So the current systems are very manual. They take a lot of time, and they just prevent the business owners from getting out of the business. They're just in the business the whole time, operating the systems rather than getting above it and starting to manage their business properly. So in terms of a solution, what we offer at Momentum Group is the ability to build custom cloud-based software. But what's different about our approach compared to a lot of traditional development is that we do specialize in a no-code tool called Bubble and also related tools. And the main things that you need to understand about these kind of emerging tools are that, like, Bubble allows for a rapid application development approach. So we can develop software and we can develop it in small chunks, and it can take, say, 20 to 40% of the time as going down the path of a custom dev project. So some of our clients have joked and they've said, you know, what you've been able to get out in the time frame, like it would have taken us months to even scope that up and then sort of allocate that out to a team, and you can produce that and then iterate on it in the same time. The second thing about Bubble is that it's quite easy to learn. So it's not a 3, 4, 5 year timeline to learn Bubble and become proficient and become a full developer. In fact, if someone commits himself to learning, you can usually get quite handy in it in under 3 months. So it's a really important point that for these things to be sustainable, we need capability. And so businesses can bring this capability in and have that in-house, and it's not an expensive thing. Just a quick tour of a few of the screens in Bubble. So one thing that you can do, and Bubble is very strong in, is building out user interfaces. So this is a big screenshot of an app that we've got internally for our own business. And this is the design tab. So you can see you can drop on text, you can drop on buttons, you can drop on form elements, and you can just arrange that however you like. So drag and drop visual UI editor. You can configure workflows. So in the same way, you can drop on events and you can drop on actions. So you can see here when the demo button is clicked, you can do things like make changes to the user, you can delete a list of things, you can send an email, you can download data in a CSV file, you can create a calendar event, you can send an SMS, you can send a message off to your accounting software or to any other API. So there's a fully configurable workflow editor, and again, it's very visual, so you can see and make sense of it quite easily. And the third thing I wanted to show you is the database view. So you can design and implement your database exactly how you need it. So you might have concepts in your business that you want to capture in data, and this database view allows you to build the different things or the entities that you want to store. Like it might be bookings, conversations, desks, offices, invoices, organizations, people, whatever it is that you need. You can define that, and you can define relationships between those things. You can define the different fields you capture, like it might be dates or text, numbers, images, whatever it might be. And that all is very easy to configure and then to access using the database view. So I think one thing that people often find helpful is thinking about what are some of the parallels you can draw? What can you build on Bubble? Bubble is not a off-the-shelf tool that then you adapt to your use case in, you change 10% of it and then it's there. It's more of a free-form environment where you can build anything. And the sorts of things that we've built or we've seen built include CRM software, lead capture and automation. So things that you can capture leads coming through, and then you can configure different kinds of actions following that, whether it be emails, text messages, generating invoices, capturing payments in any order that you like. You can schedule tasks for later, that sort of thing. Enterprise resource planning systems. So again, systems to help manage your rostering, your different jobs, your invoices, and then looking at data and dashboards and analytics to help people understand their work better. Content management and learning management software. So this is another popular use case for Bubble. You can build out screens to house your policy and procedure, or videos of different things that you might want to educate. You could even create screens for your clients to be able to provide them education about whatever subject that you are showing them. Number 5 there, financial management and accounting software. I think that's a really interesting and big space where you can create custom apps around your specific needs for your business and its finances. Software for consultants. We have had a few different companies work with us where they do a consulting service, and then they've come in and built out a platform around that. So they've productized that service offering, and they've done that successfully. And inventory management systems. Now, these are some examples of the kinds of software you can build, but I think the point that I really want to hit home here is that you can really do a mashup of anything here or other things to your requirement. So it's custom software. It's not the 80% that you need and then the 20% that you can't get it to do. It's you get to build what you need. So what we would do with Mike is look at his future state system based on what we've currently got in our drawings. And so we would understand his current state and then suggest an alternative. And so in this case, what we've done, instead of having 4 or 5 different places where the data lives, we've created an app in the middle using Bubble. And then around that, we've created a number of different ways that the data flows in and out. So there might be a number of different inquiry streams, whether it be phone or website. And these things get into the Bubble app. So it's straight away, it's captured in that central database, that central app, and then the data is managed there. Okay, from there, we can generate email notifications, SMS notifications. We can schedule notifications for any sort of recurring or future schedule. So one of our apps sends out a notification every day to remind people to come back into the system. And then it also sends out a number of different reminders for different reasons across the course of a program. Now on the right side there, we've got the API calls, syncing data across to email marketing tools, syncing data across to accounting tools. So you can really connect that central repository of data across to any other web service that you need for your business. Now, it doesn't make sense to rebuild everything. And so tools like Xero are very powerful, and it's important to look at everything and consider, okay, what's achievable and what's going to add the most benefit. So we would definitely approach a situation like this by using integrations. And then at the bottom there, you've got file storage. So you can actually connect up your app and generate files into file storage and integrate in that sort of way as well. So the idea is to get something that's much cleaner and centralized, and you control that data in a central source of truth, and then you drive other web services in a modular way. So now what we've done with Mike is that a new lead will come in to his business, that data goes straight into Bubble, and then the client is notified by email that that inquiry has come through, and also that admin is notified to take action. Okay, then the admin takes action, the booking's confirmed, and they trigger a notification to go out to the field team via SMS, and they also trigger Xero to generate an invoice. Next, a site visit is scheduled. The client receives an email notification. Now the field team goes out, they enter their job report, they mark the job as complete, and then a series of follow-up events is triggered. So next inspection, reminders, and other events are scheduled. So just to go over the benefits of taking an approach like this, you're building 100% of what you need and what you want, and you're not building a bunch of stuff or paying for a bunch of stuff you don't need or want. You're not paying per user, you're paying for the hosting of your app only. You can build apps with multiple user roles. So you might have administrators, office staff, field team, clients. You can define these roles and the permissions that they give. That's a very powerful offering. And again, you're not paying per head for each of those roles or the number of users in each role. You can integrate with your current software using API. So whatever that is, whether it's accounting software, email marketing, anything else, if it has an API, you can send messages to and from that and exchange data. You can create mobile screens. So say you have a field tech who needs to go out and do some work on site, you can create specific mobile responsive screens that they can use. You could build out client portals. So say your business has traditionally operated its own software internally, you might want to engage with your clients directly and add some portal capability so that they can access parts of the data and see statuses of jobs or update their details. You can create that functionality. You can centralize your data. So the data is not sitting across 5 different systems. It sits in one place, and then you can export that as you like. And last of all, you can build and you can deploy these things in weeks and not months or years. So that level of customization and the ability to get it done quickly is a major selling point. So let's just take Mike's example and think about a cost-benefit scenario. And I think looking at this over a 5-year timeline is really important because it's an upfront investment in that business, but it's something that will pay dividends over time. So just going through a typical project that we might look at as an agency. And I would also keep in mind that if you were to do this yourself, these costs might be lower again. So whether it's you or someone on your team learning and doing it, this could be even lower. But on an initial build phase, the lower end could be about $30,000 US, and the higher end could be 100,000. And that would usually be done iteratively over a series of modules. And that would include the design. So we involve a UX UI designer, user experience, user interface designer to capture the requirement and to build out screens, a developer to implement those screens, and a PM, a product manager, to look after that whole process. Those build phases typically take somewhere between, it could be 10 to 20 weeks. You can go smaller again, but you're just going to be doing it iteratively. So just to give you an idea of timeline there. Then if you look at hosting and plugins, say you budgeted $200 a month US, you're looking at $12,000 over a 5-year period. Then let's think about dev support and minor enhancements. So it might be that you just need someone on call to be able to pick up the phone and address something should, maybe an API setting change and you need to jump in and update something, or something else has gone wrong and you need someone to look at it in a timely way. So we would say budget $300 to $1,200 a month US for that. So that would be $18,000 to $72,000 over a 5-year period. Subsequent feature enhancements or a new feature build, you might not need to do that. So I've just put lower end $0, higher end $30,000 there. So what you're looking at over a 5-year period is a total investment of somewhere between $60,000 to $214,000. Then on the gains side of the equation, again, we want to look at this over 5 years so we can calculate accurately the cost benefit. So let's just say that in this business of 20 people, we have increased efficiency, which requires one less administrator over that period of time. So that would be a $40,000 salary times 5 years is $200,000. Next, we've reduced the SaaS costs. So $6,000 a month over 5 years, $360,000. We've reduced errors. So let's say an error costs us $1,000. We have one every month. And over 5 years, that's $60,000. Then let's think about re-engaging customers. So we know that a lot of these high volume businesses may not target and re-engage their customers as efficiently as they would like. So let's say that they are able to increase their revenue by 5% just by implementing some automated reminders that help to re-engage their customer base. This could add $750,000 over 5 years. And the last thing there is refining systems, allowing growth to occur. So we know that these inefficient systems often mean that businesses are they can't grow, they're constrained. They're only able to grow as big as the people that are running them. And when those people are tied down through heavy administration and a lot of manual work, the business growth just stalls. So let's say that this business can now grow 25% each year over 5 years, and we're compounding that annually. Well, that's actually $6.15 million extra revenue in that time. So potentially the upside of this is $7.52 million, which is incredible considering that we're looking at such a low cost to get this sort of solution implemented. So I think one question that would be the logical next thing is, well, what can go wrong? What are the risks in doing this? And I would say that the main things are the risks around the project management and delivery. So it does take time to build your own custom software. There might be delays in the process and the project may go over budget. It is often difficult to fully estimate the scope from the outset, and some things emerge as we go along. So at Momentum, we take an agile approach, which gives us some flexibility, but we do try and break it down into small deliverable chunks so that we do get an outcome and we see some progress and some testing in the real world along the way. Second thing there is team risks. So you need a good team to do this. It is easy. It's much easier with tools like Bubble, but it's still not 100% fail-safe. And so I think just highlighting that you need to find a great technical partner to work with, or you need to bring that development capacity in-house and develop it is very important. So those would be the main two risks that I consider. And I think we just need to be realistic. So the path to building custom software is not as easy as buying something off the shelf, but the potential gains are huge. I'd also like to highlight that there is a growing talent pool of people that can help you build your software on Bubble and also similar tools. So in conclusion, Mike came along, he engaged Momentum to build out his custom software using Bubble. We priced up the initial phase at 16 weeks. Half of that was design, half of that was dev. And this was a $60,000 cost. And we estimated that over 5 years, it would be $90,000 in total, including that initial phase. So Mike came along, he took a phased approach. He implemented this software with one of his teams initially, like just 5 people. They tested it out, they ironed out some of the bugs, and then he switched on his whole team and then implemented this project. Now, after a year, Mike looked back and he thought, yep, I've more than recouped the cost of my investment. My business has been able to grow and now I'm in a much better place. So what are the next steps? If this is something that resounds with you and you'd like to learn more, well, there are plenty of emerging Bubble developers online, and I'd encourage you to look them up. We are absolutely happy to have a chat with you at Momentum, just to have a free half an hour chat about your project, what you need, what are your pain points, and if this is a good fit for your business or not. So yeah, drop us an email, hello@MomentumGroup.Tech, and we'd love to organize that with you. I just wanted to highlight a few of our clients and their success stories. These are some of the people we've worked with, and I just like to say, you know, we've had a company that's recently raised 4.25 mil in a Series A, which we're really excited about. We've had another client who's raised 250K in an angel round. We've had another client that's built their product on Bubble with us, and now in year 2, they're looking at hitting 2.5 mil rev, and they've got a team of about 20 people, which is fantastic. I've got another company that's gone out and they've acquired some competitors and they're using Bubble to consolidate and digitize their platform. So we've worked with some really great people. We've learned a lot. We've had a lot of fun along the way as well. So that's that. And thank you for your time this morning, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are. I will just pause now for a moment, and if there's any questions or comments, please pop them in the chat and I'll be happy to talk to them.